Welcome back to Open Line. Talking with former U.S. Congressman Bob Clement. President, Kings, and Convicts is the name of his book. You wrote this book. It's your memoir.
Yes.
And they're again, one of the few people that I could even begin to think who has met every president from Truman all the way to Obama. It's kind of your look at the history of this country and the seat that you've had, really the front row seat that you've had looking at the history of this country. But you also wrote it for your family.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's correct. Well, I wanted the family. I wanted so they'd know something about me. So, you know, what I stood for, what I accomplished in public service and the private sector both. Matter of fact, I got 5 of my grandchildren watching tonight.
Watching
and
Open
they
Line?
were so excited that I'm going to be on the Ben Hall show. And that's Tennyson and Selah and Clement and Carson and Savannah. 5 grandchildren. They call me Papa. Matter of fact, I made a mistake one day. I said, I'm going to pop your bottom. And then they say, Papa, we're going to pop your bottom. And so whether they're at church, school, or wherever, they pop my bottom on a regular basis. So I need help then.
Oh, no. Oh, no. So they turned that right back on you. All right. That's going to help the demographics. I'm glad y'all are watching. Thank you all. All right, I want to get to some of those stories in the book. Harry Truman.
Well, President Truman, he was former president then, and he spent the night at the governor's residence here in Nashville. And that's why my father was keynote speaker at the Democrat National Convention in 1956 in Chicago because of Harry Truman. Which
was a major point in his life. I mean, that speech is known as a major event.
Truman was grooming Dad, one of a few, grooming to be president of the United States. But at that time, a Southerner just couldn't be elected president of the United States. It was too early, too premature. But Dad was one under consideration. But so President Truman spent the night at the governor's residence. And the next morning, Dad knew he got up early, and Dad always got up early, and Dad being a former FBI agent, so he checked on him in the guest bedroom, right next to the master bedroom at the residence. No Truman. So Dad goes downstairs, and remember that this is before Secret Service. I mean, former president back in those days did not have Secret Service like they have today. So he asked the troopers, says, well, where's President Truman? Well, Governor, we haven't seen President Truman. And you can imagine, on Dad's watch, former FBI director, governor of Tennessee, and we've lost the president. Well, they found Truman, finally, walking down Curtiswood Lane all by himself.
Wow.
Dad was not a happy camper, but everyone survived.
Now, another story you talk about in there is where you were on 9/11. Now, that's a remarkable story.
Well, I was at home when it first happened, and I point all this out in the book too, even the Truman story. But I was at home, and then I rushed to the Capitol. By the time I got there that morning, everyone's gone. The pocketbooks and everything was still there. And even when I arrived, the Capitol Police says, get the heck out of here, Congressman. We could get hit any time. Because remember, that plane coming out of Pennsylvania was supposed to have hit the Capitol. But because of the people on the plane brought it down in Pennsylvania.
That's right, that's right.
And so it never got to the Capitol. So I stayed at the Capitol. I may be the only one member of Congress that was foolish enough to stay, and I was answering the phone and all that. So I was there. But after that, naturally, I went to the Pentagon to check on that situation. I went to New York and all that. But I was part of the first congressional delegation to go overseas after 9/11 and met with the exile king of Afghanistan and the Northern Northern Alliance leaders that came out of Afghanistan to meet with us right outside Rome, Italy, at the exiled king's home. And to talk, and they had maps and all that, and where they were weak and where they were strong about. And they were saying to us, we can defeat the Taliban, and we don't need ground support, just air support. And we wrote up a report for President and State Department and Pentagon and Congress that said, this crowd's for real, we need to help them, which we did, and we defeated the Taliban. But roll it forward a little bit. I had Charlie Wilson in here a few years ago. You know,
there was a movie, yeah, Charlie Wilson's War. Right.
And Charlie says, Bob, we're going to lose in Afghanistan. This was years later. I said, well, why is that? He said, the same people that fought for us in Iraq have now changed, in Afghanistan, are now on the other side.
What a mess.
And it's just total unravel, because the Afghans are tribal. They're not nationalistic. They're tribal, and as long as we force nationalism on them, we're the short end of the stick. So it's a sad story.
Yeah.
U.S. is still the greatest country on earth, but we've made our mistakes. And we only have 5% of the world's population. And we need to listen to the rest of the world too. They've got a lot of solutions to a lot of these problems.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back, wrap everything up, be back right after this.
Thank you.